Hi there and welcome to another PSD Toots spoon-fed Photoshop tutorial. I'm Gavin Steele and I'm going to take you through this video support for adding dynamic lighting to a flat photograph. The original tutorial was created by Jacob. Now Jacob's laid out all of the steps you need to follow in the tutorial on the main website. He's also provided links to the files that you need, and that's these two files right here, the castle and the sky. So I've already dragged them into Photoshop. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is just duplicate the original layer, so I've got a copy of it, and we're going to start to get rid of this van that you can see going into the castle, or it's parked up I think just outside. So I'm going to zoom into that area, and then we're going to use the patch tool, down there a little bit, just using spacebar to move around the screen. Okay, so we're going to use the pen tool to go around and make a selection, and then you can use the patch tool to get rid of our van. Okay, so I'm just selecting around the parts that I don't want, like so. I'm just using spacebar to move around. I'm just doing this nice and quickly. Okay, then you can right click or control click on a Mac, and we're going to turn that into a selection. Click on OK, and I'm just going to zoom out to give myself a bit of room on the canvas and move to the right. So we're going to replace everything within the selected area with this part of the castle wall to the right. We're going to do that using this tool over here, and that's the patch tool. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the image itself within the selection, and I'm going to drag it towards the area that I want to copy. Okay. It's a little bit fidgety. Once you've got everything lined up, you can release it and control and deselect. Now I'm not quite happy with that. You can see there's a little edge there and a little edge there. So if I just go back a step, I'm going to try that one more time. I'm just going to drag to the right, release. Okay, that's a much better selection. So if we zoom out now, okay, it actually doesn't look too bad. But you can see there's a little dark area going down with the shadow of the building itself. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to get the clone tool. I'm going to use the dark area as my selection. And I'm just going to darken this bit like so. Okay, you can even fix up these couple areas just here. Just to line that up a little bit, and then we can zoom out. See how that looks. Okay, and it actually doesn't look too bad at all. Right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all of the sky, this plain, cloudless blue sky, and we're going to replace it with the dynamic sky on the previous picture, in this picture right here. Okay, so to do that, again, I'm going to use my pen tool to make the selection. And I'm going to zoom into the image. Just move along here. And move up. Okay, starting on the left. Okay, I'm just going to come under this light line here, because that's going to show through our final image. But I don't quite want it to, because we want our new sky to shine through. Okay, so I'm just doing this nice and quickly, just to give you an idea. The kind of image we want to get. Now obviously you'd spend a little bit more time on this than I am. Just keep going with the selection. And I'm going to cut off that top bit, like so. to come down the side of this building in a second. Again, you spend a little bit more time just going around each of these edges using the curve features of the pen tool, and the more time you spend with it, the better results you're going to get. Okay, we're going to drop down to this part of the wall here. Okay. Again, I'm just going to cut out these flags. Come along this top bit. Straight down, castle wall. Okay, we're almost there. Let's step up in the wall. Okay, we're at the edge of the picture, so I'm just going to zoom out, give myself a bit of room on the canvas. Not that much room. Okay, come off to the side, and I'm just going to go around that image. Then I'm going to control click, I'm going to turn that into a selection, click on OK, and I'm going to come up to our layers and our layer masks, and I'm going to hide everything that we've selected. Now the reason it's still showing through is because I've got the background layer still highlighted, but you can see if I take that out, it actually cuts out the sky pretty well. So first thing we're going to do with that new layer is we're going to duplicate it, we're going to desaturate that layer, and then we're going to apply a Gaussian blur of about 4 pixels. Okay, click on OK, and then we're going to set that to overlay, like so. Now we get a really nice smooth image. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. There we go. So it's smoothed out all the bottom area down here, and you can see that actually the selection I made has worked out really well. We've got rid of that top part and we've got rid of the flags. Okay, so the next step is to add our dynamic sky, and again I'm just going to drag that straight onto our canvas, and then I'm going to reposition it like so. Just nudge that up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring that down below those layers. Okay, so we need to apply some effects to our new sky just to make it stand out that a little bit more and feel part of the scene. So we're going to duplicate our original layer. Okay, and we're going to have it as a light color or lighter color, like so. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate it one more time. This time we're going to turn it to multiply. Okay, we're just going to put that above the previous layer. So that really gives those clouds a really dark and moody kind of feel to them. Right, so we've got those 3 layers there. I'm just going to turn off these 2 castle layers, clicking on one of our sky layers. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to merge those 3 sky layers, those 3 there, onto a new layer. And to do that, I just hold down Command, Shift, Alt, and E. Okay, and there you can see it. Our new layer at the top there has all of those applied to it. Now what we're going to do with that layer is we're going to turn that to overlay and set it to an opacity of around 50%. Oh. Okay. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and turn on our previous layers. And you can see you've got some really nice dark images and dark clouds, and it's starting to take shape now. Now, Jacob's added some light rays coming from our light source, So if we go back and have a look at that in the tutorial, and that's down at 0.8, so I'm just going to drag that down. Okay, he's put a link to a filter that he's used in Windows, and he's directed everyone to another tutorial on PSD-Toots for lighting through clouds. Now you can check both of those out and apply them to this image, but what I'm going to do is, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to add a new layer at the top, and I'm going to create a quick selection starting there. I'm going to come down to about there on the clouds. I'm going to come down to about here on the building. In fact, let's just go back a step. Okay, and we're looking for where you think the light might hit the building. So it's probably going to come down to about here, come in a little bit along the grass maybe. Okay, and then it's probably going to come back on itself like so. Let's make sure we join that up. Okay, now in that selected area I'm just going to choose a big soft brush. It's set to white, and I'm just going to fill in that area with some white like so. And then I'm going to come to filter, and I'm going to apply some noise. I'm going to have that set to around 60 with uniform and monochrome all checked. Click on OK. And then back to our filters, I'm going to apply a radial blur. Now you've got to hazard a guess at where you think that light source originated from, and that's probably about right. So have the amount set to 50, zoom, and good. Click on OK. And then I'm just going to set the opacity right down, 53, and I'm actually just going to try and see if I can just move that. It's not quite right, like so. Okay, now you can see you've got these edges around the side of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the eraser tool and increase that a little bit. Set the opacity down and just start working away. It's a bit too much. At these edges, just like so. So you get an effect that you're happy with. Again, this is just for this particular video tutorial. I'm going to lower the opacity right down again. Okay, get rid of this bit down here. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Right, so at the minute we've got the light hit coming from the right and hitting the building, so we need to start to darken these areas that are going to be in shadow. And to do that, we're just going to use the burn tool. Make sure you select on the previous layers. Nice big brush. Just going to stroke in there. Maybe one stroke at a time. That's it. We're just going to darken up these bits which we're going to say aren't going to be hit by any light, but we still want to make them visible. Again, down here, underneath the bridge, this area here. Just going to touch these up a little bit, make them nice and dark. Okay, and this tower here, again, is not going to be hit. So I'm just lightly brushing, like so. Okay, so you're just going to play around with that, and you can also lighten up the bits which of course are going to be hit by light. Maybe this wall here. Again, I'm just stroking down using my tablet. Again, you can use the mouse tool for that. Finally, what we're going to do is we're going to add one final layer because it's all still quite dark, and we're going to apply our image to that layer, which is that. Leave those settings on merged RGB, blending set to normal, opacity set to 100%. Click on OK, and we're going to set that to screen and then 70%. Okay, and that lightens it up. Okay, so that's our final image. Again, you can play around with all those tools, and you can play around with this light source that we created earlier. You can play around with the sky, you can darken them a little bit more. Maybe you want to let's set that one there to multiply. You can start to get some really dark and moody clouds coming in. So thanks very much. I've been Gavin Steele, taking you through the support video for Jack Up's brilliant step-by-step guide to adding dynamic light to a flat photograph. And these videos are from PSD Toots Spoon-Fed Photoshop.